Hello Pokemon trainers, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Battle Stadium Singles video here on iStarLeague TV. It's part of my Road to Masters series where I climb the online ranked Battle Stadium Singles ladder. Today we are featuring a team from another content creator. I've mentioned him before, he makes a lot of great Battle Stadium Singles videos as well, and this is Regs13. This is the team he made, and he featured it in one of his last videos. As of the time of recording this, it was his most recent video, so it should still be the most recent. I will definitely be posting a link to the video itself, and you can check out his videos as well as his channel in general. He makes a lot of great Battle Stadium Singles content as well. Plays some great games, and he also tries a lot of unique and interesting builds, as you'll see. So let's get to the team here. He probably explains it better in his video, so again, I encourage you to check it out. But a couple things I want to point out here are the choice banded Grimmsnarl, which is really interesting because with Prankster, Grimmsnarl can actually use the move Trick before anything else, like it'll have priority. So you can trick a choice band onto Pokemon that are not expecting it and Pokemon that would not benefit from it. And so you can basically make it so that maybe more tanky or defensive support Pokemon or even just special attackers are absolutely kind of shut down by being tricked a choice band. And then from there you still have Parting Shot with priority, and you have a really powerful Spirit Break and Sucker Punch to kind of round out the coverage. Pretty good stuff there. Just about everything else here is pretty self-explanatory though. We've got, Choice Specs Rotom with the moves you'd kind of expect, Assault Vest Magnezone, which I've used before, which he's also used before and he kind of advocates for a lot of the time. And then Dragon Dance Baxcalibur, which is in a really good spot in the meta right now. I mean, Baxcalibur is actually just a really powerful Pokemon, and it can be a really scary threat if it gets a Dragon Dance up. Then there is Life Orb Swords Dance Scizor, which is really strong. I mean, I love Scizor. And then finally, the last Pokemon, which is the first Pokemon listed here, is the Tauros, which I think is really interesting It's really interesting in the meta. Not a lot of people are using it right now, and it actually has a really good typing offensively and defensively for a lot of threats that you commonly see in the meta, with access to Intimidate and Will-O-Wisp. So it can really shut down a lot of physical attackers and do a great job of just kind of like having either speed control or even just like, I guess you could say, attack control against things. And I love the combination of Close Combat and Eject Pack here. You close combat, your stats drop, and then you automatically switch into something else. So that's pretty much the team. Let's kind of get right to it then. By the way, I did hit Master Ball rank with the last team that I featured on my channel, the last team I built with Choice Scarf Gardevoir. So I advise you all to check that out, and I did put a team code for that as well. So if you want to hit Master Ball rank and you wanted to use some strong Pokemon that not a lot of people are expecting, like Choice Scarf Gardevoir, feel free to check that video out. First opponent of the day. So they have a lot of common Pokemon, a lot of annoying Pokemon. Clodsire can be annoying, Breloom's annoying. They also have Salazzle, which is really interesting. So just right off the bat, I think Tauros is pretty decent here. It actually is pretty solid against a lot of their team, either defensively or offensively. It can take hits from Salazzle, but the awkward thing is it actually doesn't really have too many moves to hit Salazzle. What about Grimmsnarl here? I mean, they have the Breloom, which I don't like. Spore is really annoying. We actually don't have too many ways to take a Spore, but at the same time, like, our best bet against that, I mean, Baxcalibur can, like, blast through it with Icicle Spear. Man, I think I like Baxcalibur as well. I think Baxcalibur is actually really strong here. I'm tempted to lead with it. I'm going to. And then from there, I still think I like Tauros, and then after that, Pokemon like Salazzle might be an issue, Clodsire might be an issue, so I think Rotom's probably a good Pokemon to bring here as well. We also have Zone, which we could Tera in the face of Salazzle. I mean, Zone is not great against Salazzle in general, so I'm just going to bring these Pokemon, and we're going to kind of see how that goes. That's the thing with these Pokemon on my opponent's team, is it's like, they feel like I have Pokemon that are going to be easy to take them down, but I also have Pokemon that are going to be hard matchups against them. I don't know. I'm bad at explaining it, but let's see how this ends up going for us. I lead Baxcalibur, wondering if they're going to lead Breloom. They actually do lead Garchomp though, which in some ways is actually just as fine for us. Although I don't really love the idea of terastallizing turn 1. The funny thing is Tera Fairy Rotom is like almost the perfect counter against Garchomp, But I do think my Terastallizing Baxcalibur is actually just a solid play here. Although at the same time, it's very possible that they Terastallize as well. However, I do Terastallize first, and I'm assuming if it's going off our speed stats, Garchomp is faster, so I'm actually thinking they did not Terastallize here, which I'm really happy if that's the case, because I should be able to one-hit KO Garchomp with the Icicle Spear, and I'm faster. Wow. I wonder if they're the bulky Garchomp set. I've seen a few people running like max HP, max defense Garchomps with like Spiked and Stealth Rock, as well as a couple attacking moves. So I wonder if they were running that set, but either way, that does not work out well for them at all. And Tera Ground Baxcalibur is actually a really solid Pokemon. So they're thinking here, let's see what they bring in next. We're off to a good start, obviously. They go into Breloom next, which is really funny because I just destroy Breloom too, unless they're like a weird like Choice Scarf Breloom, but they actually Terastallize Breloom, which, okay, that makes a lot of sense and is also really scary for me. They could Spore me now. Oh, they're Tera Fire. Wow, that's something I don't think you ever see that. Now, the funny thing is Breloom's decently common. Like, a lot of people bring it, but at the same time, I feel like I typically play Pokemon that are like decent against Breloom because I rarely have faced it. I've actually rarely gone up against it. Like, sometimes people will have it on their teams, but they just never bring it against me. Anyways, they might Spore here, which I absolutely don't like. They just go Bullet Seed, which honestly I'm a little happier about because like, of course I don't want my Baxcalibur to die here, but I think I'd rather, well, I mean, I'd rather it get Spored than die, but Spore can be a big issue. So we know they're gonna have Mach Punch. I think I just go into this now? Thing is, I'm not certain that Close Combat will do that much damage against them. What are my EVs here? Probably Max Speed? Max HP, Max Special Attack. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. I think I have to go Tauros here then, because Rotom is probably slower than Breloom, and actually, I mean, Breloom's slow, but at the same time, they usually, I believe they usually run max speed. I'm just gonna Close Combat here. It should do a lot of damage. If they survive though and they Spore, that could be actually pretty bad for us. I don't know, I just get really flustered when I play against Breloom just because I hate the prospect of them using Spore on me. And then also, I mean, I don't know about you, but I've never seen Tera Fire Breloom, so that's something I absolutely was not expecting. They just Mach Punch me, which makes me really happy here because it means that I don't kill them though. That's definitely unfortunate. So yeah, this is gonna be tough. Okay, so Close Combat was 120 base power with Stab, and then Rock Tomb is 50 base power with Super Effective. So Close Combat would have done more damage. So there was nothing else I could have done there. I could have gone into Rotom, and I guess if I had expected them to go for an attacking move, then I guess that makes sense. But here I'm just going to go ahead and Volt Switch. It's 100% accurate. If I somehow live miraculously or whatever, you know, that's good for us. Oh, they just Mach Punch. Are they Choice? Well, no, they're not Choice Banded. Okay, well, you know what? I'm fine with this. Now, the one possibly really bad thing here is I'm going into Tauros, but I think since I'm sending out Tauros first, I might not get off the Intimidate. Let's see if that happens. If I get off the Intimidate, that's great for me though. But either way, it's 2 against 1 here. I'm in a good spot. Getting that early knockout on their Garchomp was just perfect. And I mean, again, I don't know what Breloom's kind of traditional, Terra type is, but either way, they go Salazzle here. They've already Terastallized, so they cannot. I should be able to live any hit from this. They go Sub. Wow, that's kind of annoying. Now, Rock Tomb does have a chance to miss, but I do hit it. Unfortunately, because of the substitute, I am not going to be getting the speed drop there. Huh. I mean, the thing is, they're just going to keep setting up substitute. But at the same time, I don't think I can go Close Combat because then I just let them kill me in one hit with any move. Oh my goodness, you gotta be kidding me. That's so annoying. So now, I think I might have to Close Combat now. Otherwise, I could go into Rotom. I'm going to close combat first just to kind of scout what they're going to do. I mean, I feel like they are going to substitute, right? This should break the sub. And then... I got a crit. I don't think it matters. I feel like I should be breaking their sub regardless, unless they're like max HP, max defense. So now... This thing is really annoying because it's faster than both of my last Pokemon. I'm going to close combat again. I feel like they're going to sub. Oh, they do Sludge Bomb now. I guess that's fine because... Well, I'm choiced. Oh, this is so annoying because they're just going to disable, right? I'm choiced. That's actually awful. I don't think there's anything I can do here. That's so bad. All they need to do here is substitute. They substitute, I go for a move, they disable it, so it doesn't matter what I go for here. They disable it, and then the next turn I just can't do anything. Because I'm a choice specs Pokemon. Alright, well I guess that's GG. I mean, I wasn't expecting this thing. I really don't think it matters. I'm gonna Hydro Pump. Maybe they make a huge misplay and Sludge Bomb or something, or maybe they misclick and disable, I don't know. But all they need to do is click Substitute and they probably win the game now. Yeah, that's really frustrating because... Yeah, that's, I mean, I don't know what else to say. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's funny. I think I played decently. I mean, again, who in their right mind would expect Tera Fairy or Breloom? Again, that's probably on me. Maybe I should brush up on what I know about Breloom, like Breloom's place in the meta right now. Because, again, I've seen Breloom on a lot of teams, but even when I do see it on teams, they never really bring it against me. Like I said, I can't remember facing a Breloom in this meta. Like maybe once or twice, but in all the games I've played, like it's been a rare occurrence that I've battled against a Breloom. And I feel like, just off of the top of my head, I feel like they would probably, you know, run a different Tera type? I don't know, one that covers their weaknesses. I mean, I guess Tera Fire kind of does. So Struggle's kind of dumb. I don't think it even, if it doesn't break the sub, yeah, okay. Wow. All right, well, you know, I guess GG's to my opponent for running Tera Fire, Breloom, and sub-disable Salazzle. Like, that's also something I was not prepared for, not expecting. But I guess that's kind of like how it is in Battle Stadium singles. You know, you bring 6 Pokemon on your team, and then you bring 3 from there, and you can't really account for every possible thing you're going to run into on the ladder because... You know, as I always say with singles, I always encourage people to try new things and be creative with their sets. And with that in mind, like, you're going to have opponents that are doing that too, and you're going to not expect certain things. So sometimes you just get completely blindsided, but let's go ahead and get to game 2. All right, we have another really peculiar looking team. I have no idea what most of these Pokemon are capable of. I mean, I kind of do, right? But let's go ahead and see here. I kind of wonder if Grimmsnarl's good here. I mean, tricking Choice Band against... I mean, they have a few Pokemon that could actually take advantage of that Choice Band, though, so maybe we don't want that. It's hard to kind of prepare for this team. I like Scizor as well. Scizor has a decent matchup against a lot of them, but I mean, Dondozo exists. Well, we have Rotom for Dondozo, and let's see, Rotom in general is decent here. Obviously, they could terrestrialize some of their Pokemon, so that could really help them. But I also think Tauros is okay, although Cerulege exists. It's not a great matchup for Tauros. Baxcalibur. I like Baxcalibur a lot. Okay, we have Magnezone and Rotom for the possible Dondozo. Does it matter which one we bring? I'm going to lead Rotom. I don't know if that's correct. And then I'm going to bring Baxcalibur and Scizor in the back. Yeah, I feel like Baxcalibur is my best chance at taking on the Cerulege, but also, you know, Baxcalibur's ability makes it immune to burns. I guess another Pokemon that I'm not really thinking too much about is the Florges, but I do have the Scizor for that. So yeah, again, my opponent's team is really interesting here. I have no idea what to expect. but it should be fun, right? Right? That's how this goes. Well, that's a really interesting profile picture. It's kind of funny in like a, I don't know, depressing kind of way. I don't know exactly what was going on there, but it was a little scary actually. So they lead Spiritomb, which I think is fine with me. Okay, so Spiritomb, I know it gets Will-O-Wisp, it gets Shadow Sneak, it gets Substitute, it might have like Calm Mind, I don't know. Once again, this is a Pokemon that you don't typically see, so who knows what it's capable of. So I'm just gonna Volt Switch here, just so I can Volt Switch into something else. I'm thinking of going into Baxcalibur, but we're gonna see here. If there's some chance that they're faster than me, it'll at least reveal what they're gonna do, but I actually don't think they're fast. And I doubt, if you're running Spiritomb, you're probably not running Speed Investment. All right, they're taking a few minutes. Now, that sprite for Spiritomb is actually really cool, though. It looks really interesting. But this should do a decent chunk of damage. We are also Tera Fairy, which probably would have killed them, but I think I just want to be a little safe with my Terrasilize, or with my Terrasilization, whatever it's called. Either way, let's go right into Baxcalibur here. We're going to threaten a lot of damage here, but they do go Trick Room. I guess that's something I should have figured, right? Now, as for Trick Room, like, I guess Trick Room setters that you typically expect are like Hatterene. I think that's like kind of the most common one that you see in singles Trick Room teams. Aside from that, I mean, I guess maybe that's on me. Maybe I should have known that what's it called? Spiritomb gets Trick Room. But anyways, I kind of just want to Glaive Rush just to get off a lot of damage. They do have their Fairy type though. Okay, I'm gonna Icicle Spear. I'm just gonna be a good boy here, and in case they predict that and go into their Florges. Although Florges doesn't have an amazing matchup against Baxcalibur. But either way, I'm not really afraid of what this Spiritomb can do to me. I guess if it has Curse, that's going to be annoying. Maybe Pain Split also, but aside from those two moves, offensively it can't really touch me. It cannot burn me with Will-O-Wisp, so I'm not really that afraid. And they do actually switch, so let's see if that ends up paying off for us going for the Icicle Spear. Okay, they go Ursaring, which is also fine by me, because this should take a good chunk of damage. Oh, that's a critical hit. Okay, it takes a lot of damage. Now, the thing with Ursaring is, if they could be Guts or Quick Feet. They're not going to be Quick Feet. They could be Guts with, like, Flame Orb or Toxic Orb, and then the Facade, it will hit really, really hard. Okay, they do actually get that Flame Orb active. So they're going to have Facade. I think I just go Scizor here and just take any hit. I feel like they're probably going to go Facade, which will hit really, really hard with the Flame Orb and Guts. And if I'm going to Scizor here, I'll obviously resist that. I was going to say, otherwise, if they did not have like the Flame Orb or the Toxic Orb, then Ursaring can actually hold the Eviolite item now because it technically evolves into Ursaluna. So, you know, that's cool. But yeah, either way. Get off a free Bullet Punch here. I think there's no reason to not go for it. Obviously, I know that they have Spiritomb, which won't take this really well. If they have Florges by some chance in the back. Wow, they're actually switching. Wow, that's interesting, because their Ursaring is actually really low. Okay. Go into Spiritomb here. Pressure. I don't think I care about that. Now, I took a ton of damage. Oh, well, that should just kill, right? Yeah, second Bullet Punch should just kill. They could have... I know Spiritomb does get Sucker Punch. I don't know if I'm thinking too far back to, like, Gen 4 OU days, but I think I just stay in Bullet Punch. Otherwise, I could go Baxcalibur, because, again, Baxcalibur is not really afraid of what Spiritomb can do. But if they do have Sucker Punch, this is actually going to be really bad for me. I mean, you know, if you have Sucker Punch, I guess... You know, or Shadow Sneak for that matter, yeah. Shouldn't do that much damage, though. Let's see. I mean, because Scizor is actually really important here for at least taking on that Ursaring. Never thought I'd say that sentence in a competitive Pokemon battle, right? I am going to get off the Bullet Punch before they go for anything else, which is great. And yeah, Spiritomb, all I did was set up Trick Room. Not too much else, if I'm being honest. If they go into Ursaring, it's dead. Oh, and well, either way, the Twisted Dimensions are back to normal. So I actually don't think I really need to worry about saving Scizor for the Ursaring anymore. They do go into Ceruledge here. Ceruledge does get Shadow Sneak. I just go Bullet Punch right now just to get off as much damage as possible. I guess a worst case scenario is if they have like Swords Dance or something. That could actually be terrifying if they have Swords Dance. But I think this is still just my best bet. And then maybe I eventually go into Baxcalibur and get off an Earthquake. Actually, this might be a mistake on my part if they do have Swords Dance, but at the same time, like, I don't think I really want to switch anything into this. Okay, so this is actually kind of good for me because it means I'm going to get off a Bullet Punch and then die to Life Orb, which sounds weird to kind of like be happy about, but this is actually good for me because it means that they, I mean, well, we know that they didn't go for Swords Dance, but it means that they're not going to be able to go for the Swords Dance for whatever that's worth. Alright, we have these two Pokemon left. We know their last is Ursaring. Ursaring's really slow, so I think we're in a really good spot here. I think the thing I need to be afraid of is like what their Tera type is going to be from this thing. Do I go Rotom? I'm tempted to go Rotom and Hydro Pump, but I think I'm just going to go into this thing. Actually, I mean, I think this is a good matchup here because of the fact that if they hit me with a Fire type move, my attack stat actually gets boosted. So do I Terrasilize? I think I do Terrasilize here and just go for the Earthquake because it'll do extra damage that way. And either way, I'm taking neutral damage from the Fire type moves. There's no like defensive play on my part right here because like, I mean, maybe they get a fighting. I don't think Ceruledge gets a fighting type move. Well, if they do, that's good for me, because then if they have a fighting type move, they would be like, oh, I'm going to click a fighting type move against this ice type, and then I'm going to Tera Ground, so I'll be neutral to it. So either way, I think this is just a good situation for me. Just get off as much damage as possible with that Earthquake. Typically, if you see Ceruledge or Armarouge, like their typing is so distinctive, and then they have the flame, what's it called? Flash Fire ability that makes them immune to fire, that usually those are Pokemon that have unique Tera types because, you know, they like to kind of play with the weaknesses and resistances, and they already have an immunity to fire, so they're free to kind of like Terrasilize into a lot of different types. If that makes any sense. That made sense in my head, but either way, I get off the Earthquake. This should kill. Oh yeah, they didn't Terrasilize, so this should kill, right? And then their last Pokemon is going to be Ursaring, who I'm definitely faster than. And that's GG. And even if I'm not faster than them by some random miracle or whatever, they are burned and they're really low on health, so they might just die to the burn. Yeah, they will die to the burn with that remaining HP. So good game. That was a fun one. Well, you know what? I did click Earthquake here. If they have to be like Tera Flying, then I guess they're still in this, right? But it should be fine. Now, Ursaring's sprite, it's not really a sprite. Ursaring's like, you know, pose right there is really interesting. He's just holding his claws out. Yeah, they just cancel. Okay. GG. Yeah, that was a really interesting game, and I guess, you know, my opponent's team kind of really showcased, and again, look at that. It's kind of creepy. It showcased, like, you can kind of use whatever you want in singles. I mean, to be honest, my opponent's team did have a lot of holes, I would say, if I'm being completely honest, but, you know, because if you want to run a Trick Room team, I feel like even a Trick Room team with Ursaring is a possibility, but again, I think there are better Trick Room setters than Spiritomb. Spiritomb used to be decent when it had, like, no weaknesses, but now that Fairy exists, well, that's a big type and a common type, and, you know, that's a big weakness to have. But either way, that was a fun one. Let's go to game 3. Game number 3, my opponent's team looks pretty standard. These are a lot of Pokemon you do typically see. A lot of Dragon types, couple Dark types, you know, kind of a lot going on here. I think this is another, yeah, Tauros looks solid here for sure. Tauros is actually great against almost my opponent's entire team. I think I want to lead with it as well. And then from there, Tauros is going to struggle against Chomp and Rotom. And those two Pokemon, for those two Pokemon, I think my Rotom is in a decent spot as well. Rotom's also pretty decent against Scizor and can be. The funny thing is, like, Rotom's good against Scizor as a water and electric type, and then it's good and it's bad against Scizor as a fairy type, and then the opposite is true against Pokemon like Garchomp and Meowscarada. Like, it's good as a fairy type against those, but bad as a water type. So either way, I do think Rotom's in a really good spot here. I also like Baxcalibur. What about Grimmsnarl? Grimmsnarl's actually okay. Would I lead Grimmsnarl at all? Grimmsnarl against Meowscarada? Well, I can't Prankster it. I would have to Spirit Break it, which would do a lot of damage, don't get me wrong. Actually, I think Grimmsnarl's good here. I'm going to lead it. Maybe that's weird. Do I have time? We're going to try it out. Alright, yeah, we're going to try it out. Let's see how this goes. I mean, Prankster is pretty good, but we do have to keep in mind that Dark types are now immune to Prankster. So we cannot use Trick or even, I think, Parting Shot against... Oh, that's a really awesome... I love that. That's an awesome picture on their part. We cannot use Parting Shot against Hydreigon or Grimmsnarl. So we need to really be aware of that. They lead Hydreigon though. And I think I just have to hard switch here. I'd love to go for Spirit Break, which would probably one-hit KO, but at the same time, I feel like it's pretty likely that they're going to like Terrastalize. Probably go for the Flash Cannon. Now, usually Hydreigon is choiced. I don't think I can stay in, right? They go Flash Cannon, I'm probably dead. Also, I don't love going into Rotom though. Okay, this is already just an awkward start for us. And of course, as I just said, we can't trick. I'm going to stay in Spirit Break. This might be awful for us. Oh, they switch. Oh, that's great then. I mean, I am a Fairy type. It's funny because like I'm a Fairy type against a Pokemon that's 4 times weak to Fairy, but with Terrastalizing, it kind of really changes things. They go into Scizor, which I think is a great play on their part. But I think this leaves me open to just going into my Tauros. So now I know... Ooh, Rocky Helmet. Interesting. Okay. Now I know 2 of their Pokemon, which is good. But, I mean, they're about to know 2 of mine, so I guess we're even. By the way, I love Shiny Scizor. I showed it off in one of my previous battles. It's really, really beautiful. Going to Tauros, I feel like this is a pretty safe switch here. Get off the Intimidate, and then I do threaten them with Will-O-Wisp, which I do think I'll go for. They go Bullet Punch, which I should take really well. Yeah, I take that extremely well. I'm going to start with Will-O-Wisp, and we might catch something on the switch otherwise. I mean, I feel like it's pretty likely that they switch, although they also might just Terrastalize, but... Alright, I feel like it's kind of likely they might... Well, I don't know if they would go into Hydreigon here, because I'm a fighting type. They do go into Hydreigon, though, and I do get off the Will-O-Wisp, which is fine. Like, that's not a big deal, but it's okay. Now that I know about Scizor... Seems like a good idea to preserve my Tauros. Do I just go Grimmsnarl now? Huh. Because Rotom's good. Rotom's a decent switch, but I want to preserve its health. I think I just go Grimmsnarl, honestly. Like, again, this is funny because, like, I do have a fighting type move that's super effective against them, but I feel like they might be Choice Scarfed with how they switched into that. And I also don't want my Tauros to take too much damage, so yeah, I'm just going to go into Grimmsnarl now. Maybe they go for a Dragon type move, but I highly doubt that. This might also reveal whether they're Scarfed or Specs or Life Orb or whatever. They are Tera Poison, which is good information for us. It is kind of unfortunate that... Well, you know what? Now they're actually not a Dark type, right? So I think I can Prankster them now. They Thunder Wave. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. So... We haven't seen an item from them. We know that they're not choiced. I think I just Trick now. Because I actually kind of don't want the Choice Band anymore. Like, I'd be better off being able to switch between, like, Parting Shot and, like, Spirit Break against their team. I think they're going to go Scizor, though. They do. So I trick them a Choice Band. Oh, you know what? That's actually really bad for me. But I get their Rocky Helmet for what it's worth. Do I stay in here? Really funny. I just gave them no, I can Sucker Punch, get off some damage. I think this is fine with me. Just losing Grimmsnarl is fine with me if I can kind of take down their Scizor in the process. They U-turn. Okay, they are Choice Banded now. Okay, so they get some Rocky Helmet damage, which means that, you know, Tauros might be able to clean up a little bit later, clean that up a little bit later. And of course, with Tauros being resistant to the Bullet Punch, that's a good place for me to be in. And now I can go for Sucker Punch freely, or I can Parting Shot if I feel the need to. They go Hydreigon now. We know they have Thunder Wave. I think I just go... I mean, I guess they could have Taunt, or they could have Stealth Rock, but I'm just going to Sucker Punch again. Okay, okay. So they do have one of those moves. They have Stealth Rock. Wow, that's so annoying. Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to not click Sucker Punch, though. I think I just keep clicking Sucker Punch until I'm either dead or I run out of power points. I don't think I lose anything by doing this. I do also have the option to Parting Shot at some point as well, which is also pretty decent, but now that they got up rocks, I'm going to be a lot less likely to want to keep switching my Tauros and Rotom in. Because again, those Pokemon are just so valuable, I just don't want them to take too much damage. They switch again, which is actually annoying, because this Sucker Punch is just not doing anything. Hopefully they go back into Scizor, let's see. They do go Scizor, which I think is fine with me, because... Yeah, I think it's more likely that Scizor is going to be going for an attacking move here. They might... Actually, you know what? If they go Bullet Punch, they're going to be faster. But we do know they're Choice Banded. Wow, this is so annoying. They're just so determined. They go Swords Dance. Okay. They're just giving me a free attack. That's so weird. Okay, I need to look ahead at their team, though, just to see which of my last two Pokemon is going to be best, like, against the rest of their team. I think it could be Rotom. Could actually be Rotom. I think Rotom actually is in a really good spot against their team. Either way, I got off a free... that was a really weird plan. They're, like, so determined to not let me hit Sucker Punch. So now they're switching again. If they go into Hydreigon, I'm going to get off some damage. It's going to be resisted, but it's still going to be some damage. Like, did they forget that I'm not choice locked anymore? It's so weird. I find this to be so weird. They just really want me to run out of power points with my Sucker Punch. All right, we get that damage off. And again, I'm just going to Sucker Punch now. Like, there's no reason for me to not Sucker Punch. We're just accumulating damage on their Hydreigon. Okay, they do switch again. I don't care. They're probably going to go back into Scizor, and again, we're just going to do the same thing. They do go back into Scizor. I'm going to Sucker Punch again. All they need to do is Bullet Punch, though, right? Like, I don't know why they're so determined to, like, catch me here. The fact that I got damage on their Hydreigon's actually really... Yeah, they do finally go Bullet Punch. It's actually really important, though, because it means that it's going to be a little bit more likely that Tauros actually knocks out their Hydreigon with Raging Bull, so that's pretty good. They get their Rocky Helmet damage, right? I didn't see that, but they should. So now I'm free to just go Raging Bull, and if their last Pokemon is Meowscarada, they can't switch in. I guess they could have a Dragon type. That would be actually really bad, but then we have Fairy Rotom, so... And they've already Terastallized, so we're just in a good spot to just click Raging Bull here, and we don't really lose anything for that. They're locked into Bullet Punch, so yeah, they can just go for it. It's Choice Banded, which is pretty good. Oh, it doesn't do anything, never mind. I was gonna say, this might do, you know, some damage, right? But either way, get that knockout on Scizor, which is great. If they go into Hydreigon, we might get a knockout on that with Raging Bull. I'm pretty sure we will, because they've taken so much damage at this point. And Tauros is naturally faster than Hydreigon, so that's a good spot to be in. If they go into a Dragon type... Thing is, okay, so from Hydreigon, we've only seen, I think, Stealth Rock and Thunder Wave. They do have Garchomp. A Tera Fire. I'm gonna Will-O-Wisp. I'm probably dead. All they need to do is click Earthquake, yeah. So here's the thing. I mean, we don't know their choice. They very well could be. This is scary, actually. This is actually really scary. Oh, yeah, this is actually, This is actually funny. Because if I Terrasilize and go Tera Fairy, one, their Hydreigon might have Tera Blast. And two, I'd have to hope to kill them with the Tera Blast. And go Hydro Pump. Okay, they switch. So if we connect here, oh, this could be really good. If we land this hit, we're gonna be in such an amazing position. Thank goodness. All right, that's great. We kill them. They go back Garchomp. We Terrastalize. We Tera Fairy, and we're immune to Ground and Dragon because we have Levitate. We are locked into Hydro Pump, so we cannot go Tera Blast. But I think this should be good enough for us. I guess they could have Iron Head. If they have Iron Head, whatever, you know, all the power to them. You know, whatever. They deserve it. They deserve the win at that point, I guess. But, you know, I think this is still going to be the best play. Unless they're choiced as well, then it's like a prediction game. Like, if they have Iron Head, they might not go for it. If in case I stay a Water type, I don't know. It's a weird prediction game, and I'm just going to play it the safest I possibly can. Go for the Hydro Pump here. I mean, because, well, at this point I have to, right? I guess the big decision right now is whether I Terrastalize or not. But they do go Outrage. That is perfect. If they're choiced, the game is over. They might not be choiced, though, but we again, nullify just two of their... nullify at least two of their 4 moves. I'm thinking the game is over. Perfect. Wow, that's awesome. All right, so we got to show off some Choice Banded Grimmsnarl in that game, which is really cool. I like the set a lot. You know, it's one of those things where you look at it and you're like, yeah, this looks like a really good Pokemon in the meta, and then you see a couple teams with Scizor on them, and you're like, okay, well, maybe not. But yeah, it's good stuff. You know, shout out again to Regs for building this team. It's a great team. I love it. I know he's been using a lot of the Tauros, the Fire Tauros, because it is just a really good right now, and you know, it has all the tools to kind of like handle a lot of the most common threats in the meta. And as you saw right there, you know, just having that Intimidate and the Will-O-Wisp is just so great. And then its speed tier is also pretty solid as well. It's naturally faster than Hydreigon and a lot of other Pokemon. So Good stuff there. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed. Please go ahead and leave a like, and please do subscribe for more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet videos. Also, I'd really appreciate it if you left me a comment below letting me know what you thought of this video. And if you've been trying some Battle Stadium singles and what Pokemon have been working well for you, I'm really interested in hearing what unique Pokemon have been working, or even just Pokemon that are just good in general, like, Dragapult, which I love. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I will be seeing you next time.